The war between the United States, Israel, and Iran has now been going on for nearly 6 months. It has killed thousands of people, disrupted one of the world's most important trade routes, and has gone through multiple ceasefires and failed peace deals. So, how did we get here?
Not only attacking Israel. Technology ahead of the first ever meeting of the CFTA.
On February 28th, the United States and Israel launched a massive attack on Iran. The opening strikes targeted a multitude of things, from Iran's military command structure, missile sites, naval forces, and other strategic targets in the region. More than 1,000 targets were successfully struck in the first 24 hours, according to the US military. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah al-Khamenei was also killed in the opening attacks. Just hours after the initial attacks, Iran responded with its own missile and drone attacks against Israel and US forces. However, the fighting would quickly spread beyond just Iran and Israel, as American allies across the region such as Kuwait and the UAE became key destinations for Iranian missile and drone barrages. But one location quickly became especially important to not just the nations involved in the conflict, but to the entire world as well. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most important energy choke points. Before the war, roughly a fifth of the world's traded oil and LNG passed through it. Iran shut down the strait during the conflict, while the US imposed a naval blockade on all Iranian ports, thus causing the war to affect the rest of the world's economy and energy reserves. Though by early spring, both sides began pushing towards a ceasefire. On April 7th, the US and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire that included plans to reopen the strait and begin negotiations. While things were seeming to get better at first, the reality of the situation was that the ceasefire was extremely fragile. In June, the two sides reached another agreement. The deal this time extended the ceasefire for 60 days and was supposed to lead to a permanent settlement while also reopening the Strait of Hormuz. However, the agreement never solves the biggest dispute. Who actually controls access through the strait and under what conditions? After attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, the US launched a new wave of strikes against Iran, hitting more than 80 targets. Trump then declared that the June deal was over, and Iran consequently suspended its participation soon afterwards. So, how is this war being viewed in the US? On the right, the argument is generally that military action against Iran was necessary. Supporters say that Iran posed a nuclear threat and that military pressure was needed in order to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Additionally, keeping the Strait of Hormuz open is critical to US and global security. On the left, the argument is generally that the war was unnecessary and could make the US and Middle Eastern regions less safe as a whole. Critics argue that the conflict has cost lives, disrupted the global economy, and risked becoming a long-term war without a clear endgame. But those are just broad political trends and not universal opinions. More recently, support for the war has appeared to weaken nationally as a whole. 6 months in, there's still no permanent peace deal, and the Strait of Hormuz remains a major point in the conflict.